It's Thursday, May 26th.
From inside the WTOP newsroom, this is the DMV Download, presented by Steamfitters Local 602. Learn how Steamfitters can benefit your business at steamfitters-602.org.
Today, the question over where the Washington Commanders will build its stadium is nowhere close to answered. There's new legislation to lure the team to the Commonwealth, but WTOP sports director George Wallace goes into the logistics of why this news may be intentionally timed to distract us and why it could cost the team fans.
You're going to draw from Richmond. Your season ticket fan base would be from Richmond. So I don't think that's a possibility. I think they're playing the leverage game here.
And despite word that other NFL owners don't support Snyder and the fact that the team is under investigation, some Virginia lawmakers want to move forward with a stadium deal. We talk with the state delegate on both sides of the issue.
With this current team, it's hard to see what the benefits are.
I am a fan, and I'm personally excited about the possibility of this deal happening.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Megan Cloherty.
And I'm Luke Garrett. Washington's football team is unquestionably in turmoil and not getting the welcome it likely hoped for in Maryland, Virginia, or D.C., as it looks to strike a deal for a new stadium location.
Today, Virginia lawmaker Chap Peterson, who represents Fairfax County, said he's lost confidence in the Commanders as a viable NFL franchise.
With this current team, it's hard to see what the benefits are other than we're bringing in opposing fans to root against us.
Peterson originally voted for the bill to bring the team to Virginia, but he said he's changed his mind.
I was hoping to see that the team would be trending upwards and becoming more popular, but unfortunately it seems like it's been the opposite, and that's one of the things that led to my decision.
Though there is opposition, the legislation to bring the stadium to the Commonwealth may still have legs, and we'll get to that.
But first, WTOP's George Wallace is here to give us the background on what's happened this week with the team. And George, we learned that owner Dan Snyder bought land in Woodbridge. What is the deal with that?
Well, we know that he hasn't actually purchased the land. He's obtained an agreement to buy the land if certain things are met.
Conditional.
It's changed. The whole story changed. Yeah, from when he thought he had bought the land, he didn't buy the land, so it's still so far from getting done.
Right.
Just like Woodbridge is far, this is far from getting done.
But it wasn't it $100 million? I mean, there was some.
Yeah, that's what the option is, I think, to buy it for 100, 200 acres or whatever it is. But yeah, no, it's just an option to buy. He hasn't bought the land, but that's one of these sites that they were looking at for a possible stadium. Also trying to get somewhere in Loudoun County, but Loudoun County wouldn't sell them the land or come up or would not come to an agreement to have them possibly purchase the land as well. Apparently, the spot in Loudoun County is very close to where they train now in Ashburn. So that is one of the spots they're looking at as well. But look, nobody wants to do business with this guy. Nobody wants to do business. We've heard Maryland not going to really up their offer. They put out $400 million, but it can't be just a stadium itself. Virginia now, they're maybe backpedaling on this because of everything that's going on with Dan Snyder. So he's far from getting a deal done somewhere. I think we're very far from anything happening.
And despite us being so far away from actual decision, this announcement of Woodbridge, this optional deal, did get a lot of reaction.
Oh, yeah.
So what did people say? Were people into it or?
Not at all. Because, look, I mean, there are so many different things. Let's be honest. And no offense to anybody if you guys live in Woodbridge. Okay?
I do not, but I've been there. It's lovely.
It's lovely this time of year. But there's not, you have to travel down 95. There aren't many ways to get to Woodbridge.
Yeah.
And 95 is a disaster without a football game or anything else going down there on a Sunday. Or can you imagine? I mean, there's just so many things wrong with that. You're basically alienating everybody in Maryland, which he's kind of already done. A lot of former Washington fans have gone to the Ravens. But at that, you're
really putting it like so far south that people won't travel to, especially the route you need to get there.
Yeah. And just, not much around there, hotels wise, and players. You're going to have to, because the training facility will be there too. So you're going to have to live down there.
Right.
Can you imagine, bringing in free agents? You're going to fly them into National Airport. Oh, wait, we got to get in a car and go down 95 to see the facility and where you're going to live.
Well, and a lot of these people already have homes. I mean, the coaches and stuff.
Also keep in mind, anybody that's with this organization right now, coaches included, who knows, maybe even the owner, may not even see this stadium or play a game in this stadium. It's so far off. You know what I mean? It's so far off from becoming reality.
Right.
So.
But was the reaction so bad that it kind of cut out that option, or is that still a possibility? Is Woodbridge still a possibility?
I think I can't see it being a possibility.
Right.
I just
There's so much sighing. There's so much sighing.
I know.
Just realistically thinking about getting in a car and going down there, or just, and you're going to draw from Richmond. Your season ticket fan base would be from Richmond,
right,
and down south. So I don't think that's a possibility. I think they're playing the leverage game here, and trying to work everybody against each other. But he still wants DC as the number one. He wants the RFK site. That's no secret. But he hasn't. The government have to give him the land there.
And you guys spoke about like the locations of that are really under consideration on The Huddle, which is WTOP's podcast about sports. And Dave Preston is going into the locations there. But this Woodbridge deal comes after we learned that some NFL owners may want Snyder to step back from his role. So it was sort of interesting timing hearing about this potential deal, yeah?
Oh, yeah. No coincidence at all. That this. So we had the report over the weekend from USA Today that owners maybe have, quote unquote, counting votes. And we've never really gotten to that point. I mean,
right.
Owners fed up, but it's always one of those, the owners aren't going to really, go after one of their own because people will start poking around their past and things like that. You don't want to get involved in that.
They don't want to be in Dan Snyder's position.
Correct. But a bunch of owners speaking anonymously to USA Today saying that they've kind of, with everything going on, the harassment, and then the other report financially that Dan Snyder has two different sets of books and he's been withholding money from the visiting teams at FedEx Field. If you start messing with somebody's money, then that's a whole different ballgame. So
right.
he had owners talking that they may be getting to a point where they're going to count votes to get him out. Now, there are owners meetings this week in Atlanta. It was not on the agenda. Dan Snyder in Washington, not on the agenda. But who knows? To me, that report comes out, and then all of a sudden it leaks that they're looking at land in Woodbridge to kind of take the focus off of that report for the weekend. That's what they do, guys. That's
just to
that's the game.
divert the attention
That's
away
what they
from that
do.
conversation.
We've seen it the last 2 years with the harassment stuff. Always, we'll just throw something else out there.
Yeah.
That's just what they do.
Well, pivoting from the front office game to the game on the field.
No, the front office is more fun.
You actually got to see, the Commanders practice this week with their new, quarterback Carson Wentz. So how was that, and how'd the team look?
Well, it's OTAs, so keep in mind there are no pads. It's just shorts and T-shirts and helmets. But you could tell he's a commanding presence, a lot different than a Taylor Heineke. He's just a
commanding presence.
I didn't even think about that. That was pretty good.
They all had Commanders written on the back of their jerseys, too.
Yeah,
they didn't have
that's
their
like
names, which was very interesting.
That's like a high school thing. You don't earn your name yet.
Oh,
Everybody's
wow.
one team. Yeah. But no, I didn't even think about the commanding. That's pretty good. But no, he's a presence. Like he's a guy that's been at the played at a high level. Players love him so far. You can't really tell much, but from what they're doing right now, but you can tell that he is in charge right now of this offense. So I think that is something fans will like to see, a change from the past. He definitely throws, a different, stronger football than Taylor Heineke. But again, I mean, look, and for me, he's the key to this whole season.
Right.
And we're only in May, a long way to go.
Mm-hmm.
But just to see him under center with this offense was something different.
It's interesting, too. We were talking about Richmond, and they have traditionally had their training camp in Richmond, and now there's a question of whether that will happen. It just seems to me like fans just keep taking hits here. I mean, is there any truth to that the training camp might not be in Richmond this year?
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think it's going to be back. I think they don't want to spend the money to go back. So it's looking more and more like it's going to all be here in Ashburn. But yeah, to your point, fans, they turned out last year because they hadn't been down there in a couple of years because of COVID, and then after that was everything was at facilities. So it'd been 2 years, and they had 1 year left on their deal to go back, but they shrunk it and they went for just 5 days just to kind of say thank you to the fans and kind of show that they still care about Richmond. But I don't think it's happening. Yeah, I think the Richmond fans have seen the end of their football franchise, at least at training camp.
So they've put a lot of pressure on Carson Wentz to make this thing happen. I mean, doesn't it seem that way from an optics standpoint? Like there's so many changes going on, but look at our new quarterback.
Yeah.
He better do well, or the team better do well, because otherwise where are fans going to go?
Right.
Maryland, I guess.
Oh, yeah. No, the Ravens. Yes, that's where they're going to go. And that's where a lot of them have already gone. Yeah, the fan base is eroded so much. It's just so sad, and especially being somebody that grew up here and lived through the really, really good times.
Right.
And just to see what the old stadium was like, and the 100,000 person waiting list, and to see where it is now. And keep in mind also, we had touch on one of the renderings that they were talking about in Woodbridge. It's only a 60,000 seat stadium. That's only 4,000 more than RFK was when you left there in 96 because you had all this, you built this 90,000 seat stadium.
Wow.
Right.
That's how far that this fan base has eroded. So
Isn't that telling?
yeah, there's a lot of pressure on the field. And, for Carson Wentz, they make a trade for him. It's a deal they can get out of after 1 year because they didn't restructure his contract. So if he doesn't do well and he's not the future, which I don't think they consider him the future of this franchise, I really don't, they can get out of it after this year. But yeah, they're going all in this year to try and get it done.
We will be continuing to
Sorry
watch
to depress
it.
you guys.
Yeah, I know.
That's all right.
It's not really an uplifting story, but it's a good scene setter for where we are with this team. George Wallace, WTOP Sports Director, thanks for joining us.
And after the break, why would Virginians want the team to build a stadium there? We speak with a proponent of the bill, Prince William County Delegate Luke Taurean, who thinks this is a win for the Commonwealth.
If you want to save money and grow profits on your next commercial heating, cooling, HVAC, or refrigeration project, go with the men and women of Steamfitters Local 602. You can trust the experience of its workforce, members who have expertise in heating, air conditioning, refrigeration, and process piping to deliver work that's on time and on budget. For a partner you can trust who's mutually focused on your bottom line and to schedule, contact Steamfitters Local 602 at steamfitters-602.org. That's steamfitters-602.org. Steamfitters Local 602, changing lives.
Thanks for listening to the DMV Download. If you like the podcast, head to our show page, give us a rating, and leave a review.
We read all of them and use as suggestions to improve this show that we're so proud of. It also helps other listeners find this, our region's only local daily news podcast.
Thanks for making us a part of your day.
Next week, the Virginia General Assembly will return for a special session to debate whether to pass legislation that would outline how the Commonwealth would win the Commander Stadium deal. The bill creates a stadium authority to oversee construction and financing of the project. It basically allows the team to collect a share of the state's tax revenue generated by the stadium.
Snyder's stadium plan includes building commercial and residential space around it, complete with a convention center, concert venue, and restaurants. And Prince William County Delegate Luke Taurean is all for it. He joins us now. Delegate Taurean, tell us about what this legislation does to really win the Commanders over to Virginia for the stadium. Why would it really bring them across the Potomac?
Well, basically what it does, it allows them and it gives them the authority to negotiate with the Commonwealth in regards to coming from Maryland into Virginia with the stadium. But mind you, Washington Commanders have been in Virginia for nearly 50 years. And allowing them, they have their headquarters already here. They are already in Virginia. So this is not a new phenomenon. They're already here. They simply want to bring the stadium where they have their headquarters, and that is in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Mm-hmm. And as the bill stands now, do you think there's enough political support in Virginia to subsidize this huge project? Because I think you were mentioning it's going to cost $200 million to build this stadium.
Well, we have had support for the project during our regular session, General Assembly session. And so I have not seen that wane. I think the conversation that we're having now is taking a temperature as to where legislators may stand in regards to the legislation being passed and the possibility of a stadium coming to the Northern Virginia area.
The money's still coming together, but you said, how much is it we're talking about now, at least? This could change, of course. But what are we talking about as a price tag?
Well, the projected numbers that I've heard have been anywhere between $300 million and $350 million. And as I indicated to you guys earlier, I have not been in on the negotiations and intricacies of that, but primarily I've heard what you've heard through the course of the media.
And, just in the past few days, there's been some doubt cast upon this bill to bring the Commanders, to Virginia. Your colleague, Chap Peterson, said that the team has no history or real fan base, or not as much as they did before. And he's really concerned that this might not be a good choice for Virginia to bring the Commander Stadium to the Commonwealth. So how do you, answer to that observation?
Well, I do not wish to get into tit for tat with Senator Peterson, but I will share this with you. Over the years, the Washington Commanders, Washington Redskins, as they're formerly known, have had a very rich history here in the Commonwealth of Virginia and a terrific fan base. Every team goes through its ebbs and flows as far as winning or not winning. And when a team is not winning, obviously attitudes do change with a few top grade draft choices and some more positive decision making relative to how the team operates and get back on the winning side, you will see fan base and attitudes change.
Apparently, team president Jason Wright has said recently, quote, "I'm incredibly eager to continue our work with the legislative leaders in Virginia." But he says, and other jurisdictions. So he's leaving the door open there that the stadium could go elsewhere. You just mentioned the ebbs and flows, and of course, teams win and lose. This team has fallen under legal question. There's financial questions. There's questions of, impropriety. Do we want that drama in Virginia? I mean, is there any concern about that you're maybe taking on a team that, is kind of bringing a lot of negativity with it?
If you look across the NFL and the 32 teams, there's drama with every team. So the drama is not something that's new. And the appropriate authorities will deal with the issues that are at hand. And I'm sure that the Washington organization has a very good grip on the issues that are before them. There's a difference between separating what may be happening in someone's personal life opposed to making a business decision. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure the commissioner of the NFL is very much on top of everything that is happening with the Washington Commanders. But I just repeat this again. You look across the league, the history of the league, there's been drama with a lot of teams. So this is not something that's new or uncommon.
And there are also some real concerns about the infrastructure of some of these proposed locations of the new Commander Stadium. In Woodbridge, there are some proposed for, Loudoun County. And people are worried that the traffic alone will be too much for these locations. Do you share those concerns?
I'm sure that if this deal goes through and it proceeds, there will be quite a bit of infrastructure improvement that goes along with it. And we primarily are talking about a large gathering of people 8 weeks out of the season. Now, there will be some other commercial aspects to it, but it's not going to draw the thousands of people that we normally get at a football game. So we need to just bear that in mind and keep that in mind as well.
And the General Assembly, is set to meet for a special session starting June 1st next week. So do you think the General Assembly will be able to make some significant moves on this legislation, soon?
I certainly hope that we will be able to make some very positive moves on the legislation very soon.
Delegate, are you a fan of the Commanders? I mean, I feel like I kind of want to get a little personal take here from you, because for fans, if they're in Virginia, if they're close to Richmond, where, obviously we had the training camp for years, it's an exciting thing to think about the stadium coming to Virginia. I don't want it to sound like an all negative story here. Are you personally excited that this deal could happen?
I am a fan, and I'm personally excited about the possibility of this deal happening. And I've been a fan for a number of years. And I just think that it would be good for the Commonwealth.
Delegate Taurean, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing, your thoughts on this possible bill to, lure the Commander Stadium into Virginia.
Thank you very much.
And before we go, Megan is going on a trip, and so no.
Megan is leaving me in the dust.
No. She'll be back. But I will be hosting tomorrow's episode solo.
I know. It's like a whole new world.
A whole new world.
We'll see how we do. I'm going up to visit my brother in Connecticut, so it's a long enough trip where you're like, I could use an extra day or two just to make, it's like 5.5 hours up there.
Oh, yeah, so
Farther
worth
than
it.
you think. Farther than you think.
So worth it, and it's so worth visiting a sibling. That's great. Siblings are so important,
Yeah, I'm going to say he's my favorite one to see if my other siblings are listening.
Uh-oh.
Maybe I'll get some pushback on this. No, but he is the one with a boat. He has a boat,
That
and
helps.
It's Memorial Day,
That
so
really helps.
I feel like it's a good time for him to be my favorite. No, it should be fun. I get to see family, get out of town, and it's nice to have a long weekend every once in a while.
Oh yeah. It's going to be fantastic. Well, wish you the best.
Thanks.
On that trip.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to need it. No, we'll be fine.
And that'll do it for us today on the DMB Download. We're sponsored by Steamfitters Local 602.
Our managing editor is Craig Schwab, and our music is by Real World. Give us a review and rate our show if you get the chance. We read them all. Please do this. And follow us on social media, where we post content every day.
You can find out more about the podcast and become one of our VIP listeners at dmbdownload.com. The DMB Download is a product of WTOP News. Listen on 103.5 FM in D.C., 107.7 FM in Virginia, 103.9 FM in Frederick, online at WTOP.com, and on the WTOP News app. And if you're going somewhere this weekend, safe travels.